Okay, go.
Okay, I'm Stephanie, if you didn't know, and if you know nothing about me, I'm a fashion designer, and I own my own line, my own collection, my own little shop in downtown Modesto. And what I am not is a public speaker, so this is really fun. But I do like talking. If any of you follow me on social media, I do talk a lot, even it's to myself, so I might just like be like looking out that window, not making any eye contact. Anyways, thank you for having me here. I'll just look at you. Oh, don't do that. I'm so happy. You're my sister, so it's easy. Thank you for having me today. So what I wanted to kind of share with you guys was a little bit of like myself, like the way I was brought up. So I was raised by a single mom with my sister, so always surrounded by women, like even our pets were women. So this is like, I'm not joking. My mom's borderline feminist, so that's another story, but so, you know, I grew up with a lot of encouragement from my mom and my sister, and it's honestly the only reason I could even do this with you guys here, talk to you guys, you know. So, I need water, because my throat's already closing up. This is a weird thing that happens. I actually just spoke 2 weeks ago, even though I'm not a public speaker, at MJC for some reason. They asked me to speak there, and that's the first thing that happened. I was like, my throat is it's the weirdest thing. I don't know. I thought sitting would help.
It's weird what nerves do.
It is, yeah. But like, I feel like I know you guys now, like 6 kids.
You're just allergic to public speaking, that's it.
You're allergic to it?
No, you're allergic.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And that's really cool about the lactating thing. I only have one daughter, but she's a dog, so I but I feel like I made her, and I bring her up because she works with me every day at my studio. So a little bit of what I do custom clothing, but I also do ready to wear as well. I know you said that you were, you majored in fashion design?
I was in the industry like 20 years.
Oh, in the industry, okay.
Yeah.
I was never that cool because I was just like so stubborn because I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to design my own things. I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh my God. But you know, having the right encouragement and the right people around you to keep you going is really important. So that's why it's so awesome that you organize things like this. So I think it's really important. What else was I gonna say? How did I start? I started in my garage, which, you know, doesn't sound very glamorous. It's only cool in retrospect, obviously. Like, yes, I struggled in a garage. But yeah, I started just by making little things here and there. And I actually told my husband, I said, there's no way I can make fashion happen here. I don't know where you worked in fashion, but I was like, there's no way I can make fashion happen in Modesto. And he was like, okay, well, obviously you don't want this bad enough. And I was like, I will cut you. So he's dead, no, just kidding. I'm just kidding. He's very much alive, and he's very supportive, and he actually runs like the business aspect because I don't know about you guys doing your own thing. It's really hard to be a creative and also to do like the finance. And I feel like you relate to that. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm an artist. Do my taxes. Yeah, so it's really great. So it's important to have a support system, obviously from the person you live with, but also in this setting as well is very helpful. And then what happened? I ended up getting a little studio, just one little room. If any of you are familiar with downtown Modesto, Preservation Coffee, do you know where that's at? Okay, if you look up, there's gonna be a little room on the corner. That's where I'm at. That's where I started. It's right above Preservation and like, what's that restaurant? Trissetti's. So I started up there in one little studio, and then the pandemic hit like a year later, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then I I started doing sketches. I literally just started sketching like fashion illustrations because I was thinking, my goal was never to give up on being a fashion designer. I was like, there's no other option. Like there's no plan B. Like I'm gonna do all the things that a fashion designer would do. So one of those things was fashion illustrations, and people started like sending me pictures of their families, and I would do fashion illustrations of their family. And I did that throughout the whole pandemic. Like I never stopped working a day of the pandemic. And because of that, I was able to grow that one little studio into 4. And then a year ago, I opened up the shop. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it wouldn't have happened with like really supportive people. And again, my sister, like literal labor, because I ended up getting the shop that I ended up inheriting. I call it inheriting because the man who owned it passed away, and my landlord was like, you should take it. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for this. And she was like, don't say no. Like this is like a great location. And I was like, I can't afford it, like bottom line. And she was just like, name your price. And I was like, okay. And even though I wasn't ready, I was like that opportunity came and I had to take it, you know? What was that?
Or was it dumb?
Oh, it was a dumb. Yes, she knows. She's still mad about it. Look at her. We had to start getting Botox after that because tell people. They know. They know. I haven't had it in a while, but yeah, but we did all that work ourselves, and being raised like with only women in the house and like not a lot of money, like you just figure out how to do it. And she would meet me in the mornings and after work, and we would, you know, my husband did too, but actually he wasn't as helpful as my sister. Women rock, right? Right? Like there's nothing that we can't do without another woman, because I don't think I could have done it alone. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions?
Did you go to school?
I did. I went to school. Yeah, thank you. I went to school a year after I graduated high school, and I don't even know how, because we were so broke, but you know, we got all the loans and I was on my way, and it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I don't know. Did you major in fashion design?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was hard. I mean, it was hard for me.
I don't sketch, so that was my hardest thing.
You know what? I didn't sketch either. And it's funny because when I went to my interview, first of all, the lady was trying to convince me to not do fashion design. Because she was like, you're not, like, most people don't do anything with this major, or they switch majors in between. And I was like, because you're telling me not to do it, I'm gonna do it, you know? And the sketches that I brought in, I went with my best friend, and she still laughs at me till this day because of my sketches. She's like, do you remember the sketches you brought in? And I'm like, yes, I could never forget them. I did. I threw them away because I was like, I can't be reminded of this. But like, we all start somewhere, and I think that's like that with any business. Like you start somewhere, even if it's small, and you just build it little by little. And that's what I realized this because somebody had asked me 2 weeks ago at the college. They said, oh, aren't you scared of like competing against like Shein or like going bankrupt? And I was like, no, I'm not, because first of all, I'm not trying to be Shein. I'm not trying to ever be on that level. And second of all, I'm not scared of going bankrupt, because I've built this so little by little that I didn't take out loans with a bank. Like I literally did it step by step. I built it brick by brick. And I realized something like in the last week, that it's because I'm playing the long game. I'm not in a rush to get somewhere quicker than I need to get there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people are in a rush to make it happen, especially if like you started something later in life. Like you feel like you're trying to play catch up, right? But no.
It's definitely speaking to me.
Let's talk about it.
You mean? Not you, not me.
I definitely want this to feel like a conversation, because I kind of came into this like feeling like, okay, I'm going to just have a big conversation with everybody, you know?
You mentioned 4 shops. So you have the where you sew
I have 4 studio spaces, and it's all production, mainly production. So 2 of them are like sewing machines and tables. And sometimes I do classes up there, like with, I don't know if you guys know Marissa from, well now it's Besties, but she was Scout Wines. We started doing sip and sew classes, and since I had all that space, I would do like, that's another thing I did. I had to like adapt and try to figure out different ways to generate income besides just making clothes, because it's not always like a necessity. It is a luxury, you know? But I feel like learning something and experiences are so important that people will spend money on that. So we decided to do sip and sews, but now she has a restaurant, and yeah. But so 2 of them are production studios, and then 1 of them was my shop. I had like a little store upstairs, but it was really hard to even get in there because I had to like let people up into the building because anyways. And then another one is my bridal room because I do custom bridal. So if anybody's getting married, everybody's like has like 6 kids. I will never get over that.
Come on.
I know.
Yeah. Only one of them a girl. Yeah.
Wow.
She's in New York. She's 24.
Oh,
Yeah. Right. Just left with all the boys. Yeah.
wow. Sorry.
Right.
I don't know. I just started living with a boy, 9 years ago, my husband. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
These are weird. It's true. And I still only have a girl dog because that's been like ingrained in me. Like only girl dogs. But anyways, what was I saying? What was I at? Somebody
We're
help
talking
me.
about your space, and then
Oh,
do you have
yes.
other people that sew with you or work with you, or what is your sister help?
My sister helps. So what I do custom, and I do made to order. So most of that I can handle on my own, but when I'm filling up my shop, because like I like to do the ready to wear in the shop, obviously, because people like to shop on impulse, they don't want to like wait for something to be made. So when I'm doing production runs, my sister helps me with cutting. My mom will help me with sewing because she actually made all of our clothes growing up. That's also how I got into it. Oh my god, I made this like my mom made all of our clothes growing up. She made it for other people as well to like help to survive because she was raising us alone. And she was also disabled. So like she had to make it happen, and that's what she did. And I just remember like all the scraps. So I've known I was gonna be a fashion designer since I was 6. Because like I would always see all the scraps, and I would make my Barbie's clothes, and that's how it started. I just like loved it. And my mom, it's so funny, she has like no style. I hope she never sees this.
Don't let her into the private group.
She will. And so she would make us these things, and I'm like, oh, it's so ugly. We needed clothes. So when I was old enough to deem what was fashionable, I would like sketch them out, like terrible sketches, but I sketched them out nonetheless. And she would make us things, and yeah, that's how we lived our life. It wasn't cool then, though, okay, because I actually was bullied because we were poor, which is so dumb, because we were cute, even though we had custom outfits. I didn't appreciate that then. But anyways, what else am I missing here? Let's talk about you.
Well, tell us what a typical day looks like for you. Do you have a typical day, or is every day different, or?
I have like a routine. I'm very stuck on like a schedule. I'm very disciplined, and I would say that that's the biggest thing that I try to tell people who are building anything or trying to do a business, or if you have a goal, like you have to be disciplined. There's no way around that. So you're gonna think I'm a crackhead, but I wake up every day at 4:45 in the morning, and nobody tells me to, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, if I don't wake up this early, how am I gonna make all these clothes? It literally does come down to that, and I just start really early, and I write down everything I'm gonna do for the day, and if I don't get through that list, I'm very upset, but then, tomorrow's a new day, and we just try to tackle it. but I usually, Mondays I have like my week goals, like what I'm trying to get done for the week. Because I have a lot of customs that are like out in advance, like wedding dresses, obviously, like they're not like, oh, next week, like I have to have this in a week. No, it's like months, and then there's fittings, and some of them are coming from like out of state or out of town, so I have to schedule around that. So that's a lot. Yeah. I try not to think about it. And I'm like, how do I do that? List, yes.
Wait, so do you have an open shop now still?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So-
But it's just hard to get to.
No.
No.
Now it's a storefront.
Now, okay.
Yeah,
Where's
I
that
opened
at?
it's in the same building,
Oh.
which is so nice. That's why I was already in that building when it became available. I wasn't even trying to open a shop.
I missed that. That's your store.
Yeah, sorry, I was just like,
No,
here.
but it's ground level, easy access.
Oh.
Where is?
Um,
I know it's like.
it's, so where Preservation is, you know the coffee shop, have you been there?
Oh, that's the same building.
It's the same
Wow,
building,
I
it's a
was
few
not
doors
wrong.
down, it's just a few doors down, like,
Okay.
you just keep walking. It's the second to last on in that little thing.
Okay.
But I'm only open a few days a week because again, I'm doing it like myself, and I feel like I'm still so new that I have to be the one that's there so I can talk to the people and interact with people. And I love interacting with people, and mostly obviously I interact with women because I make women's clothing. And that's probably like the best part of it. Like, if you were talking to me one-on-one, I mean, I feel like this motivational speech would be so much better because it's like what I do all the time. I'm like, yeah, you got this, you know, like, what are your dreams? How are we gonna make this happen? Okay, we have to have a list. You gotta read this book, that book, you know? Like, that's how conversations usually go. So this was fun. So do you need a book recommendation?
Are you by Day Lucille?
Huh?
That area? You said
No, so I'm on J and she's on H.
Oh, okay.
So there's like two main streets in between us.
Okay.
Yeah, but we go there a lot.
You've been to the restaurants often. It's my fine.
Every single piece of clothing has your tag on it,
Yes.
and you design it. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to design?
Ooh.
Because we all have like a favorite of something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only if, well, it's not like a certain thing. I just, when people give me like complete creative freedom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, let me work with you
Yeah.
and I'll tell you what looks good on you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to be bossy though.
Yeah. But sometimes people don't know what they really want until you show them, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's actually what I wanted, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think one of my favorite process, even though it's like the most work, I think wedding dresses, because I always make it in like a sample fabric first, like so we could see the silhouette, because it's not the same experience. They don't get that same experience of like trying on different dresses.
Yeah.
But what if you hate what you thought you wanted? I didn't waste the real fabric on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a fun process, you know?
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Cool.
You said you went to school after high school, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But did you make your own clothes before then, or were you self-taught?
No. So my mom wanted to teach me, and I was so stubborn. I was like, I'm not gonna sew. I'm gonna be a fashion designer. You know what that means, Mom? That means I'm gonna do this, and somebody's gonna do this, and we're good. You know, like, I did not think I was gonna sew. And this is what I do every day of my life. It's actually kind of funny. Yeah, how I thought, and that's one of the things I regret not learning sooner. Like, I'm like, man, I could have been so much further ahead. But good thing I'm playing the long game.
What school did you go to?
I went to FITM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in San Francisco. Yeah. What about you?
Same.
Really? What year?
2000.
2000. Okay, so I was what, 9 years later. No. I wasn't in high school. It was 2008. 2008.
Okay.
So 8 years after you.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was so hard because I actually commuted from Modesto.
Oh,
And that's probably why it was even
Carrying all that muslin and like, all the tools.
you know, like now it's natural. I'm just like always lugging like you'll see me lugging in, like rolls of fabric. But yeah, I would take the BART, and I slept a lot on BART, like a lot. And yeah, I had mentioned like, I was so broke when I was in college and commuting, so that was really hard. And then it was like, okay, but you also need money to buy fabric for, for your projects. I guess they had some fabric there, but it was always like crap. And I was like a little ambitious, so I wanted it to come out good. But no, it was intense. It was more than I thought it would be. I think a lot of people have this idea of like fashion design being so fun and like maybe easy if it's something that you're good at, like something that just comes like natural to you, but you have to like learn the stuff, and it entails a lot. It was a lot more than I thought. And so my first class was a sewing class, and I was like, what? And I got a D in my first sewing class because I was terrible. I was like the worst, and I think she was being nice to me by giving me a D. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah. And yeah, so that was hard because I was like I said, I didn't think I was gonna have to sew. I thought I was just gonna like draw things, and so I had the wrong idea too. I thought it was just gonna be all fun and games, but it wasn't. And it was like some of the classes were 6 hours long, like the pattern drafting classes. Those were like, right, 6 hours? Do you remember that?
It was many moons ago, but
Oh, okay.
I remember being like,
it was like,
still here.
we had to like obviously we had a break in between because it was like so long. But normal classes I think were like around 3 hours. Yeah, it was a lot.
When did Tim Gunn come in?
Never. I was waiting. No, actually, this is funny. I cannot watch Project Runaway. It gives me anxiety. Like what are you gonna do? Oh my god, this is so much pressure, But at the same time, now I'm like, I can do that. I actually did apply 1 year, but I didn't get it. But anyway.
Besides styling women, do you style men?
No. I have my husband who I've attempted to style, and I'm not a stylist. Like, I'm good at putting things together. I do styling videos like on my Instagram, but I've attempted to style my husband, so that's why I say no, I don't style men, because I don't think that they listen. At least not to me. That's probably why.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently my brother-in-law listens to me. So yes, I do. I style men. Sign up to my email list.
Did you ever want to give up?
Why are you asking me deep questions? Yes and no. No. Giving up was never an option, but feeling like wanting to give up, yeah, that happens all the time. It's so hard. It's just like, it's emotional, obviously, and I think that, that's part of it. When you love something so much, it makes you just makes you want to cry. And as women, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't want to put us all in one group, but that crap makes you want to cry. Like wanting something so bad and working so hard for it, and sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you expected that to turn out, and that's devastating sometimes, and you're like, I give up. But no, never. I will never give up. I'll go down fighting. Yeah.
So adding on to that, what keeps you motivated and inspired?
That's a good question. So I learned a few years ago that motivation is crap. That actually keeps me motivated. That's like, it's not about motivation. It's about determination. Yeah. Being patient and just it's about. I was saying this the other day. Like, if I just had motivation to keep going, like my brand would have died in my garage like the first time around. Because motivation is what you do when you feel like doing the thing, and discipline is what you do even when you don't want to do the thing. So that's why I said in the beginning, like, the biggest thing that I did for myself was become extremely disciplined, even though I'm silly. But I'm also very disciplined in a lot of parts of my life. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ryan Holiday. Have you heard of him? He actually wrote this book called Discipline is Destiny, and I highly recommend it for if you don't feel that disciplined. I feel like it really helped me. And he has a lot of other books about, you know, like his first one that he was like really popular for is Courage is Calling. Courage is another thing you need when you're running a business. Even if you don't think so, like courage can look very different, but just like showing up every day, even knowing nobody's gonna come, like, and that was the thing with my shop. Like when I first opened, it was great in the very, very, very beginning, and then in the middle, it was like crickets, and I would just like cry and cry, like nobody wants to come to my shop, and you know, it was like devastating. But I realize now, like it took a lot of courage to go to the shop and nobody come to the shop and keep going and just waiting. You know what I mean? And it is hard, it's emotional because you're like, why does everybody hate me? But you know, if that was a man running a shop, he would be like, I don't care. I can give a flying fart if anybody came in, you know? And that's when I feel like that's when we need to like hone that like masculine part and like, who cares? Like, I feel like sometimes as women, we care too much about what other people think. And I think that's something that like holds a lot of people back. I was talking to somebody this weekend about like, you know, he wanted to start like a business because his daughter has Down syndrome, and he wants to start like an organization and, you know, like a, what do you call it, a nonprofit organization. And he's like, but I'm gonna have to get on social and like, and this is coming from a dude, and I'm thinking, why do you care so much? But like, he's like, I'm gonna like embarrass myself, and what do people think, like I'm doing too much? I'm like, who cares? Just do it. And if you have the right motive, which for him it's his daughter, like literally, who cares? You just do the thing, you know? So yeah, good talk, guys.
Are you on the, I would consider you an artist, obviously. Are you on the Downtown Modesto Art Walk?
No, I'm not. But my husband keeps telling me, you need to get on the walk. You need to get on the walk. And I'm like, I know I need to get on the walk. I want to get on the walk. This year, it's gonna happen this year. That's the other thing that's really hard is like, you know, I manage my social media, all the messages, like all the emails I get, the Yelp stuff, and then I still make the thing. You know, all the things.
Gotta know, yeah.
I know. I'm trying to like hand off the responsibilities, you know, it's different.
I also have a job.
She does have a job and a family, and if you missed it, she has 3 dogs and 3 birds. So that's a lot. But those birds come to the studio, like, and hang out sometimes.
They have their own social media now, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of work too.
Great content.
How big is your staff?
Huh?
How big is your staff?
What?
Your staff, is it just your sister?
Yeah, it's just us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and my mom. My mom helps too.
Yeah.
She would be here today, but and yeah, kicking and screaming, my niece. And my husband too, kicking and screaming. No, no, he helps a lot, but more like website, because that's like, my mind doesn't work like that. I'm just like, yes, I'm just an artist. And I'm just an artist, mom. Yeah, have you heard that on Instagram? That like voiceover? That's me. That's how I feel. Like, I'm just an artist. So yeah, he takes over like the website stuff, and actually she does my finance stuff because she's an accountant and a cutter.
And a cutter.
I always say I feel like my sister loves power tools because I have like electrical cutters.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like she could be cutting the smallest line. I'm like, you could use scissors for that. I'd be like, so
Where do you pull your like creative ideas from with your clothes?
that's a good
Does
question.
it just come from your head, or do you have to like pull inspiration from?
I think so. I think like sometimes I have an idea of what I want, but I think like we live in a world where it's surrounded by inspiration. There's so many artists out there doing different things. Like you get inspired by other people's work. You know, I don't think that there's anything that hasn't been done. It's just been done differently. You know, I had a friend tell me recently that all creativity is rearranging the things that we already know in different ways. And I love that so much, and that's why he was like, that's why reading is so important, even for creatives, especially for creatives, because the more we know, the more creative we could be, whether that's photography, being a writer, a fashion designer. I feel like I listen to so many random books, and I do feel like I get inspired by those books, so books is a big inspiration for me as well. Eras, I love like different eras, because all we're doing is rearranging the things that already existed into new ways. So and people are inspirational, like people's personal style, like just taking something, like your glasses are really cool, like nobody else here has those glasses, that's a personal style thing, right? Or is that like your,
Both.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you need
The
them
style
to see?
is, but like the lights give me migraines,
Oh, okay.
like to the ground.
But you made it work, you made it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was not gonna make it work.
So like people are inspiring as well. Yeah. Any other questions? Because I like it when you ask me questions and then I answer.
I know.
like
You guys have any
I'll
conversation?
keep going.
Something was mentioned about a capsule.
Oh yeah. That's offensive. I should go now.
Oh, man. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Okay, yeah, we did talk about, if you want to talk about a capsule wardrobe, like what that entails and how you create them.
So I know a few of you went to the vision board class where Carla talked about vision board stuff, and I did a little bit of capsule wardrobe thing. And basically, I made the little cards, which I don't have.
I should have brought mine.
It's fine, I should have brought mine.
I can post a picture and take a picture.
It's basically taking kind of the same concept of being creative with like the things that we have, right? So I put on there 6 pieces. One is a slip dress, which I make, and one is pants like these, a button-up, a blazer, a skirt, and a regular like t-shirt, like just like a simple t-shirt, and then just rearranging those in different ways. But would you like to help me with this part? I'm just kidding. I'm like, you want to get a seat? Okay, right here. That's what I consider a capsule wardrobe, but like if you go on Pinterest or wherever people go for creative ideas, they have a lot more pieces, but I'm talking about like your most basic things to then rearrange them in a bunch of different ways. Like for instance, I think one of my go-tos, especially like in the summertime, I love doing a slip dress with like a band tee. I just tie it up, and in the summer I don't really need like a jacket, but if it's like spring, like right now, then I pair that with a jacket. So with those 3 pieces, that's one outfit, and then you can wear everything individually as well. So I don't know.
Do you make, you're saying like the base layer would be a slip dress, and you're saying that you actually
For
make
one of the
them.
looks, yes.
Okay.
I have slip dress. I think my slip dress, it's so funny, I made it because I'm like, I just need like something to slip on. I wanted something easy for myself, and then I ended up like making it for my shop, and it's my #1 like bestseller.
It's so cute.
Yeah,
Oh my
thank
gosh.
you.
I haven't gone there because I want to get it, and I'm like, I need it.
Yeah.
I need it, but I need it. It's so.
It is super
Oh my
cute.
gosh.
What is it made out of? So I do them out of a few things, but the ones I have right now, one of them is this material. This is like a viscose, and like it's a sustainable fabric. It's from a sustainable mill. I'm really into that as well. I'm into sustainability. Not everything I have is sustainable, because I also do source some fabrics from like a local fabric shop here, So I don't always know where those are coming from, but I could tell you that they're ethically made. But yeah, I source fabric from a fabric mill. I think it's like in Canada or something, but the way that they make their fabrics they don't emit that many toxins into the earth. the atmosphere.
So do they send you PFD and you dye it, or do you have it?
No, they.
done?
I mean, they have the colors. They have like all of their
Okay.
colors that they already make, and I just pick from there. And I just, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not ordering like thousands of yards at a time. The most I order is 100, like the most, and that's a lot because I mean I still have to make that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. But hopefully, one day, I can have some seamstresses and they can make the stuff.
She's on the
So yeah.
I was gonna ask you really quick, did it take you a while to find the right sources? Like, there's so much out there.
Yes.
How did you kind of like navigate?
So I ended up going to like fabric shows, and even then you don't really know exactly what you're getting. But yeah, I mean, I have ordered things that I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I just spent that money on something that But that's again, I feel like I was younger and I was more impatient then. But now that I'm like a little bit older, I feel like okay, it's fine to wait like for the right thing to come along or for me to find the right thing. And in one of my many mistakes of getting fabric, I ended up finding a fabric mill at one of these shows, and I fell in love with them. Like I just like love their stuff, and it's just a plus that it is sustainable. So, and then I kind of like the more I started learning about that, and I do have a documentary I want to encourage you guys to watch. But the more I started learning about that, I was like, this is actually really important for like the environment. Like what we do for clothes to our earth is so sad, And it's like, is it really worth it? Like, and that's from somebody who like makes a living off of that. Like, it's not worth it. And there's better ways to do things. So that's one of the main reasons I really love that company. But the documentary that you guys should watch, it's called The True Cost. Have you heard of it? Is it on Prime? Amazon Prime?
You have to pay for it, but it's like $1.99.
Oh.
What's it called? True Cost?
Yes.
True cost.
Did it used to be on Netflix?
Yes. That's where I used to watch. Did you watch it? It's just so sad, like what people do for fashion. Like anything that is like, you have to ask yourself, why is this so cheap? Because fashion is still one of the art forms that still requires human touch. You know what I mean? It's not made in like by a machine. I mean, a machine is used in the process, obviously, but it all requires human touch. How does it cost $2? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but some things actually do cost $2, And the thing is that they overproduce, and these are materials that are not biodegradable. They don't go back into the earth, and then they create landfills. So it's not just like one thing, It's not just like how they make the fabric. It's not how they make the clothes. It's like what materials are they using, and then how is it affecting everybody else in the long run, So
The amount of water, all the washing, there's just.
yeah, and it uses so much water. Like even just to make fabric, it uses so much water. That's why actually this is my favorite material, because it's made from eucalyptus trees. And I was reading up on it, and because of that property, it uses, so eucalyptus trees, they grow like with minimal water, like with minimal care. They just grow. So they grow them in like these, like, what would you call it? Like little farms that are specifically for, like, they cut them down, they grow them again kind of thing, because they grow so fast, they grow so easily, they don't need much, and it kind of translates into the fabric. So viscose is used a lot in sportswear because it absorbs odors. So, kind of sweat, you get kind of gross.
Antimicrobial.
Huh? And yes, so many things. Tell them. I want you to sit here. I'm not a great
I'll give you a
person.
hug after.
Oh my god.
Does anyone else have any other questions for her? That's it?
Cool.
Do you have an inspirational quote or motto or something you wanna?
Oh man, so many. If you guys ever come to my studio, I have a chalkboard wall, and I've written like different quotes on there. But one of them is, okay, so I have this thing that lives in my head. So when I first started like working in my garage, I was actually working part-time with my sister. And this story has a point, I promise. And I started listening to this podcast called How I Built This. Have you ever heard of that podcast? At the end of that podcast, he asks, do you attribute this to luck or hard work? And I always imagine myself answering that question because I am gonna meet him and he's gonna have me on his podcast one day. And I have been waiting for this moment.
We can send him this recording.
Yes. And actually, I did see him live a few weeks ago. He spoke with Ryan Holiday, the author of that book, because they were doing like a tour in San Francisco. Anyways, so I was very close, but no. So he asked that question, and my response is going to be a quote from Seneca, which says that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So it's not just luck. It's like you have to be prepared for when the moment comes. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, I do feel lucky in a lot of ways. Like I feel lucky that I was raised by the people I was raised by, like getting that encouragement since I was really young. You know what I mean? I feel like that's lucky. I feel like it's lucky even not having everything handed to me because it made me work harder. But also there's like the hard work aspect of it. Like you work really hard and you do the things, you know? And there's no, you can't get out of that part of it. You know, there's no, what is the word I'm looking for? There's no cheating that part of it, you know? Yeah, no, but that would be cool. I would love that. Make that dress. Hem, button, tag. Yes. Oh, and another thing I have on my wall are the 3 T's. Things take time. And you just have to remember that. Like, and good things take time, you know? What is another good one I have on there? I think that's all I can think of. And then attitude of gratitude. Because I mean, yes, I'm very much about that. Yeah. And I'm so grateful you guys just sat here and listened to me. This is crazy. You guys are crazy.